Hello, everybody. It's Monday, and I've been having a heck of a Monday. So, welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what your demographic is, doesn't matter. Nothing matters as long as you believe in reasoning thing out, being cool, having a good time, understanding that people have different points of views, understanding that on every single issue, nobody's going to agree on anything, but we have to come up with some type of a policy for just about everything. And the problem with America is you get people that get on these mountaintops on the left and on the right, that on the conservative and on the liberal, on the progressive and whatever the hell the opposite of a progressive is, and they all get on these hills and they start shooting artillery rounds at the other side, wishing them ill. And here's what the deal is: we got to get rid of the people on either side that are on these hills that they have and that are in their castles and they feel like they have to protect. And the sane people in the middle have to come up with some reasonable stuff that we can figure out how to actually legislate and rule our society. Because the simple fact of the matter is that we cannot have no rules because that's anarchy, and we cannot have too many rules because that's tyranny. That means that reasonable people have got to come up with a damn plan. Now, on Friday, Supreme Court dropped the bomb and they said, hey, look here, we're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. And so they kicked Roe v. Wade to the curb. Now, I don't know whether they should have done that. I'm glad that they did do it. I'm glad that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, I learned so much this weekend by just doing massive amounts of research. And I looked at a lot of different uh, decisions in the court. I looked at the reasoning. I look at constitutional takes on this. I listened to well-reasoned people, and I was like, oh, everybody's stacking up left and right, nothing in the middle. There's nobody in the middle. I'm telling you right now, there's nobody in the middle. It's either for abortion or against abortion. There's no middle ground. And then I started hearing a bunch of things that happened over the weekend, and I was like, did everybody watch my show on Friday? It seemed like all of the people that were on the weekend shows at least watched a portion of my show on Friday because they brought up a lot of the valid points that I brought up on Friday. And as normal, we here were a little bit ahead of the curve because that's the way that we like to roll at Mickey in the Middle, because we're always thinking about both sides. We're not thinking about one side or the other. We understand that reasonable people have to come up with some type of regulating system. You can call it laws, you can call it whatever. We have to come up with some type of thing that actually is reasonable, that the majority of people can get behind and go, okay, I understand that. Now, I've got a whole bunch of stuff written down, and we're going to get to that in just a second because I've got notes, man. I got notes. But first, let's talk about this terrific haircut that I got from Montana today over at Sports Clips in Cabot, Arkansas. Big, huge shout out for making me look good, Montana. This is very nice, and I just wanted to let you know this is by far the best haircut that you have given me in the 2-3 years that I've been coming to see you. So I just want to let you know that, yeah, I think I look a little younger. I think I look a little fresher. Got myself a nice fade going. Short on the side, longer on top where to lay over. So, yeah, huge shout out there. But then I went over to Red River Ford. And over at Red River Ford, my truck has been built. I would like to talk about my truck for just a moment. Here's the thing about my truck. I care about the planet. Not really. I tried. I mean, I care about the planet. But I care about the planet in a different way than everybody else cares about the planet. I care about the planet because, and as a young person, oh, wait a minute, I gotta go to comments. Hold on, hold on. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Let's do the comment Olympics on Monday. What day is today? On June 27th, 2022. Carolyn Greg's Ledger. Carolyn, gold medal, Greg's Ledger bringing it in, and silver medal, Susie Goebel coming in too. Don Ledger bringing it in for the dudes at the bronze medal. So congratulations, gold medal, Carolyn, gold medal, Greg's Ledger, silver medal, Susie Goebel, and Don Ledger. And Darla Joe Stewart Bennett, the lady with the four names, came in fourth place. So she is just off the podium, but she is a perennial top five. And I'm going to let you know right now. So let's talk to Darla Joe Stewart Bennett. Darla? that throws me off. Darla Joe just throws me off. Darla, I would like you to know that there are 8 billion people on the planet, and finishing fourth out of 8 billion is pretty doggone good. I just want to let you know. So, Carolyn, Susie, Dawn, Darla, that is awesome. Darla Stordo is also here. Oh, so there's a Darla Joe and there's a Darla Stordo. So that's good. Darla, how you doing? All right. So let me get back to my truck. I'm a truck guy. I'm a truck person. I've owned a Ford F-150 truck since 2003. And before that, I owned a little Nissan pickup truck that was made in the 80s. So from the 80s, when did I get to? So 90 low. My goodness, man, that was probably in the late 80s until 2003. I had this truck, a Nissan Little Red, and then I got a maroon truck, brand new, 2003 Ford Lariat F-150, two-wheel drive, the smallest engine. I didn't realize that I would need four-wheel drive, and I didn't think that I was going to need anything that's going to haul anything, so I got the smallest engine, but a Lariat edition, two-wheel drive truck. And that truck keeps getting stuck in my backyard. It's not made to go off-road. It's just made to be a comfortable truck and occasionally carry somebody's refrigerator. And that's why I had that truck. And I always wanted to go camping with it, but it didn't have enough get up and go in order to take a camper. And you couldn't put you couldn't even put 500, you couldn't even put 750 pounds in the back of this truck. You know, it was a quarter to half-ton pickup. It's a half-ton pickup. So a half-ton pickup, you're supposed to be able to put 1,000 pounds in the back of the pickup truck, but you couldn't put 1,000 pounds in the back of this pickup truck. You could only put like 400 or 500 pounds before you maxed it out. And so I've been living with that truck for a really, really long time. And I decided that it was time for me to get a new truck because this one's getting worn out. It has not been working right because it just had an ignition coil go out. And I spent all day Sunday or all day Saturday. No, all day Sunday. I don't know, whenever it had to be Saturday. All day Saturday with grease up to my elbows fixing this truck because I keep having to replace the ignition coils on this truck. Now, why is this important? Because I live a middle American life. I'm trying to do the right thing. My truck that I got in 2003, I don't want to get rid of because I try to use everything for the maximum extent possible. But it gets 14 miles a gallon on the highway, and it gets about 10, 13 in the city. But when you pull anything with a trailer, it drops down to 5 miles a gallon. That's not good for the environment. Even whether you agree that the environment and CO2 levels are going up and it's causing global warming, I don't believe that's the case. I believe the reason why the globe is getting hotter is because there's 8 billion people living on the planet. And it doesn't have anything to do with CO2. It has to do with the amount of energy we consume in our world. We still have to consume energy. We're going to have heated up air conditioners because what an air conditioner does is it takes the heat that's in your house, it sucks it out, it throws it outside so it can cool down the air on the inside. And then we have these heat sinks called cities. And those things just are huge absorption. All they do is absorb the radiant energy from the sun. And then if we do have CO2 levels, remember when we used to have smog over Los Angeles? Well, that's because we had catalytic converter. We didn't have catalytic converters. We were burning natural gas. And so cars and things have gotten a lot cleaner. Our industries have gotten cleaner. So I used to be able to fly over into Los Angeles and there would be smog for as far as you could see. And you'd get to New York and there was smog everywhere. So we have done an amazing job kind of cleaning up the planet. And we have leveled off our production of CO2 in the United States of America. It hasn't gotten bigger in a couple of years now. But the simple fact of the matter is we have 8 billion people. So when I want to go look for a truck, I'm going to go buy a Ford F-150 hybrid that gets 25 miles a gallon in the city, 25 miles a gallon on the freeway, which is almost going from 13, 14 to 25. That's almost double the gas mileage by buying a new truck. Also, it has a generator in there so I can go out and take it in the woods. I can turn up my stereo real loud. But here's one of the things that I would like to say is because the policies that we have about hybrids and about electrics, this new truck I'm buying is expensive. I don't know where middle class Americans are supposed to buy these vehicles. And you're supposed in the government policy at the Joe Biden administration is we're going to get rid of petroleum. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to just kind of poop this money? I'm retired, but I also have a part-time gig as a retiree, and I'm opening up another business in order for me to make sure that my daughter gets through med school and make sure that I'm taken care of in my old age. I've still got to go out there and make money. I do this for fun. But middle Americans, we've got to pay attention to this because vehicle sales are up. Used vehicle sales are up. Middle Americans can't afford these new vehicles, but I don't know. But we got to save the planet. So when I say that I'm saving the planet, I'm not really saving the planet. I'm saving myself some money. I'm going from 13, 14 miles a gallon up to 25 miles a gallon. Also, I got zero. I can go like 15 miles with zero per tank, 15 to 20 miles per tank without using any gas. So that's thrown into the mix. But anyway, I just want to give a huge shout out to the folks that are at Red River Ford in Cabot. They have been treating me great. They didn't have the vehicle I wanted, so we had to order it. So it's been ordered, but now it is built. It is being sent. I will have it by the end of July. So I'm very excited about that. So that is absolutely awesome. So hi, everybody. So hey, Debbie, how you doing? And I'm very excited about this. And Lane Calcaterra is here. And Sherry Clark's here. That's good. All right. So here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about two things. Number one, I got everybody on the TV. I think that everybody on the internet, TV, and radio watched my show last Friday night because they talked about it all weekend. One of the things that was in the decision that scared the hell out of people was the simple fact that they talked about how this affects other decisions that have been made by the Supreme Court under the guise of the 14th Amendment. And I want to talk about that for just a second. I never get medals. Hey, Eric, if you want medals, you're going to have to show up earlier. But here's what the deal is. Everybody, let's give Eric Jackson a round of applause. Good for you, buddy. There you go. Oh, that was a burp. Sorry. There you go. That's for you, Eric. All right. So what I had to do is my daughter Sydney had some questions about Roe v. Wade. And she said, "Lady, look here, I need to pay attention to politics." So I wrote down an explanation of what I believe the 14th Amendment to the Constitution says. Now, here's the reason why this is important. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution is huge. It's really, really big. It's got 5 different sections in there. But the most important thing is you need to realize that if you don't read it, it's short, but you need to go in and you need to read it. And I'm going to read you what I basically wrote to my daughter about the 14th Amendment. Basically, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution says that all citizens and non-citizens have equal protection under the law are free to make private decisions and that states cannot interfere in private matters unless the state has a compelling reason. Now, that's how I interpreted it, right? So that means that you have privacy. That means that if you want to go and have a consensual relationship with anybody on the planet that is another adult, then you can do that. Now, we're talking about in the adult world. We're not talking about children. We're going to get to the children here in just a second, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about consensual adults. And then the Supreme Court came out with contraception, and they said the contraception is between the privacy of an adult. If you want to take contraception, that is a personal decision to you. If you would like to sleep with somebody of the same sex, that is a personal decision to you. That's why drugs and alcohol and all of these things really, if you're an adult, you should be able to do them because the Constitution says that what is good for one should be good for all. The amazing thing about this is we still have arguments over the 14th Amendment because, as I started the show with, is we have to have some rules, otherwise we have anarchy. And the other thing is that we can't have too many rules because that's tyranny. The big idea behind this is what is a compelling argument for the state? Because my daughter was worried about, hey, can somebody start a lawsuit about getting rid of contraception? Because in many religions, contraception is a way is not correct because it stops the natural formation of life as that religion believes it would happen. So there are religions out there that say that contraception is bad. And then they carry that through. Abortion is bad. Killing is bad. Murder is bad. Killing that. So they have a consistency all the way through from no conception all the way through no killing of anybody of any age. That's a moral dilemma. But other people are like, hey, look here, I'm not religious. So that shouldn't apply to me because that's some kind of a moral thing that you're saying. And I don't think that life starts until, and this is when you get into the question about the amendment. The only thing that Roe versus Wade is about is determining when a person becomes a person. Somebody says, hey, look here, the viability of life happens at conception. When a sperm hits an egg, that's a viable life. It is viable life. There's absolutely no doubt about that. When a sperm and an egg get together and they go into the uterine wall to form the little baby sac, then that's viable life. And when it gets to that point, if the mother is healthy, it's got an 80% chance of making a baby. Some people say that doesn't count, though, because you have to have a heartbeat or you have to have brain function or you have to have some type of feeling. You can't just be dancing in the womb, right? That's what I always told my wife about Sydney. Whenever Sydney was kicking or punching or doing whatever, I was saying she was dancing because we had music on in our house all the time. So we had music that was getting into Sydney's head, and we would say that she was dancing in the womb. But here's the thing: was she a person before she popped out of the vagina? We knew that Sydney was a person before she popped out with a vagina. So that's what Roe v. Wade basically said. Roe v. Wade is basically saying, because we have freedoms, you're allowed to decide what you do with your body. And Roe v. Wade broke it up into trimesters. And Roe v. Wade said, in the first trimester, you can have an abortion. Well, I don't know whether that's a moral decision or not a moral decision. And I don't know whether the amendment says that privacy issues are concerned. All I know is when they start pushing it with Dob, what's the dude's names? Dob did the, I don't know what the person's name is that challenged Dodge challenged the Mississippi law. They started pushing it. And they were like, no, 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 no. We want to push it because the abortion that we have is not good enough. Here's why this is important. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution basically said that courts get to decide what is freedom, right? Let's take gay sex. They have a case called Obenfelder. I think that's how you say it. That the cops showed up, went into an apartment. They said, you guys are having sex and you are two dudes. You're not allowed to have sex because you're two dudes and you're breaking some type of a moral code. So they got arrested and then they sued the city and said, we can love whoever we want to love, baby. We can love whoever we want to love. So it went to the court system and it ended up at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, under the rule of privacy, you can have as much gay sex as you would like. And many, many people rejoiced. And many, many people said, oh, that's wrong. But here's what the thing is. In the case that was just decided, Dobbs versus Mississippi, when they overturned Roe v. Wade, one of the justices, Thomas, came up with this bullshit thing that said, if a enumerated right is not in the Constitution, like speech, religion, guns, search and seizure, assembly, newspapers, all that crap, if it's not in there, then it has to have historical context in the United States of America. And at the time Roe v. Wade came out, only half of the states had laws allowing some type of abortion, and 26 of the states had laws outlawing all abortions. And he was going, so historically, when Roe v. Wade was made, historically, it was relevant because they override 26 different states. Follow me on this, because this is important. I'm telling you right now that freedom is not in a historical context. Your liberty, your freedom, your rights is not determined by history. It is either you have it or you don't have it. And I am sick and tired of people that are out there that are saying, well, historically this. Well, because historically, you're not allowed to say anything you want. So now everybody's going, well, you're allowed to limit free speech. No, you can't limit free speech. Even if you outlaw free speech, you can still say stuff. You might get punished for that stuff, but you can still say it. You can still think it. You can wish ill on anybody. Nobody can stop you from thinking that's a God-given right or that's the universe bestowing that on you. Nobody can stop you from killing somebody. But the simple fact of the matter is that you can do that. Whether it is legal or not legal is what the question is. And that's what they're worried about, because historical context doesn't have anything to do with the freedoms that are bestowed each one of us. Love. You can't help who you fall in love with. And if you want to have sex with a person that you fall in love with, now all of a sudden we're saying that you can't do that. You can make it illegal. You can make it illegal, but you're not going to stop gay sex. That's the stuff I'm talking about. You can make contraception illegal, but you're not going to stop people from using contraceptives if they can get it. Back in the day, before they came up with pills, they used to make concoctions and drink it in order to make abortions or contraceptives. And they said, well, if you drink this, it's going to mess up your cycle and you're not going to be able to become pregnant. That's the problem with abortion. When you ban all abortions, if you ban all abortions, they're still going to happen. So the question is, is inside of the scope of this, we can't say that historically we determine freedoms because the world changes. The world changes about the way that we viewed people of color, the way that we viewed people that were slaves, the way that we viewed people from other countries, the way that we viewed women, the way that we viewed children, the way that we view education. All of them have come about by leaps and bounds. We used to have child labor in the United States of America on a scale that was unfathomable until you look at China. And then we're like, hey, man, we need to change that. But if you look at the historical freedoms, if you look at the historical freedoms, if you look back, the majority of the time that we have been a country, there are more than 100, so we've been 240, so more than 120 years, child labor. So from 1776 to the early 1900s, which is about 160 years, we had child labor. So the thing that Justice Thomas said about historically, you have to look at historic facts about rights is bullshit, because if you look at it, we'd still be having child labor. If you look at historically, we banned gay sex. We banned gay marriage. We banned contraception. Dred Scott decision said that we banned people that were born in this country from being American citizens. And that's one of the things about the 14th Amendment. It said that everybody that was born in the United States of America or was a naturalized citizen has all of the rights as everybody else in the country. I know that this is going deep, and I know I'm going in a lot of different directions, but everybody has to understand that we have to address these issues legislatively. That we need to get Congress off their ass and say, Congress, make a law that says gay marriage is authorized. Or don't, because this is going to keep going to activist judges. And then one judge is going to say you're allowed to have gay sex and gay marriage, and another judge is going to say you can't have gay sex and you can't have gay marriage. But until we write it down, until it becomes an amendment, until it becomes something, you're going to have the same argument. Because as I told my daughter and other people, Roe versus Wade did not open the door for throwing out all of these other things that were decided by the court. Roe versus Wade did not open the door. The door was always open for anybody to start a lawsuit on any of those issues. Roe versus Wade just happens to be the most controversial decision because everybody is hard up on one side or the other. You're either for abortion or against abortion, and there's no middle ground. The majority of countries in the world say that 14 to 16 weeks, which is 4 months, and that's it. You're not allowed to have an abortion after that. The world is coming together and agreeing about contraception, about women's health care, about whether you should be allowed to have an abortion or whether you shouldn't, whether that is considered a viable child, whether it's not considered a viable child. I personally believe that all children are viable. I encourage everyone to not go down the abortion route. You know, I went out. I believe in having options for pregnant women, like abortion or carrying to term and having the baby, having the state help with, and every new child is born, having the state or the federal government provide assistance for every child that is born that is in the United States. I mean, I'm open to listen to all of those options. And people say, Well, people shouldn't get married. People shouldn't get pregnant. Well, you're right. People shouldn't have gay sex. Well, why not? It's not my thing. It's not my thing, but I got a lot of other friends that like it. I got a lot of friends of mine that are married, happily married, with children that are gay. And they're amazing parents. There's a lot of amazing people out there that happen to be straight or happen to be gay or happen to be whatever the hell. So the big question is, are we going to upset the apple cart, or are we going to actually make rules and codify what we know in our hearts and minds should apply to the most situations that are out there with all of these other things? Because we sure as hell cannot use the historical precedents of the people of the United States to make any of these decisions. So, Carolyn Greg's Ledger says, my kids were hearing music as well. That is awesome. And then Eric Jackson says, therein lies. Keep on pushing. Not today. Getting tired of it. Right. You keep pushing, right? You don't come to the middle. Everybody's got to come to the middle. Otherwise, it's going to end up in a really, really bad situation. So thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. So what else did I have to? All right. So I just preached a little bit more. Okay, this is the list that I had. Civil rights laws, equal education laws, who you marry, gay sex, use of contraceptives, self-protection, gun rights, and abortion, all under the guise of the 14th Amendment. Roe says that under the 14th Amendment, abortion was a private matter, and no state had a compelling state interest in the matter. Roe applied to everybody in the United States because of the 14th Amendment. That's why, because when they decided Roe, if you decide it for one, it has to apply to everybody in the country. That's why everybody lost their rights, because the federal court said what applies to one applies to everybody under the 14th Amendment. When they got rid of that statute and said, no, that is not the case, then that's why it returned to the states. The 14th Amendment has always been used to codify many unenumerated, not specifically written rules in the Constitution. And those things were previously outlawed by laws throughout the country. They had laws against sodomy. They had laws against gay marriage. They had laws about separate but equal. They had laws that said that black people were not citizens. That's why the 14th Amendment was relevant, because when they came up with the 14th Amendment, they really tried. They really tried to take the 14th Amendment and say what it says in the Constitution of the United States of America, right? What it says in the Constitution of the United States of America under, where is it? Anyway, in the Constitution of the United States of America, it says that you have rights, but you also might have other rights that are not specifically written down in the Constitution. Is that in 10? Is that in 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there you go. 10. Hey, I had it right. I got it right. Here it is. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. That means that just because it's not enumerated in the Constitution doesn't mean that it has to be retained. It means that you have rights that are not written down in the Constitution. That's why they came up with the 14th Amendment, 12, 13, 14, which says all persons born or naturalized in the United States, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States where they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Meaning, if you take number 10 and you take number 14, that you have other rights, and then you add 14, that what one applies to one applies to other, then all of a sudden you can see how there's much confusion and how people are saying, whoa, wait a minute. Because the simple fact of the matter is you have other rights and people have other rights and they should apply to everybody. Who do you know? Who do you love? How do you educate? And all this other stuff. So without further ado, that's going to be it for tonight. But I just wanted to get that off my chest, that the historical precedent set by Roe v. Wade being overturned in Dobbs is bullshit. It doesn't have a historical component. Rights come from the universe and we all have them. Whether it's speech, it's the rights that you have to express yourself, the right that you have to be free from the government tyranny, free to speak, defend yourself, free from search and seizure, free to assemble, free to associate, and all those other things. You can love, they need to put a constitutional amendment in there. You can love whoever you want to love. And if you get divorced from them, they can have half of your shit. So that's it, man. I'm out. Without that being said, you guys all be good. Remember to like, share, hit the notification bell. Remember, Mickey loves you. Share this with all of your friends. Thank you very much for your comment. You make me smarter. That is totally awesome. You guys stay out of trouble. Remember, Mickey in the middle, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central, right here, wherever I am, right there, wherever you are. I am getting on a motorcycle Wednesday, and I am going to Plymouth, Massachusetts to watch the 4th of July fireworks from Plymouth Rock. So just want to let everybody know I'm going to be in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This show for the next couple of weeks is going to be spotty and shoddy because if I have a good connection, I will do it. I will try to let everybody know Monday through Friday whether I am doing a show as early as possible. If I don't think I can do it, or because I'm still on the road, I may or may not be doing the show. Just want to let you know, please be patient with me. I'm trying to live my life and trying to live my best life. So with that being said, good night, small one. I love you. See you. There it is. Bam. Close. See ya.